Across some 90 billion light years of space, through 200 billion galaxies, and amidst trillions of stars is our tiny speck of a planet. We live in a universe that is so vast we cannot comprehend it. Our ancestors had no idea how we got here, what caused a child to be born, the weather, plants to grow, and the stars in the night sky. So they came up with the earliest form of faith. Beginning tens of thousands of years ago, we attributed the things we didn't know to spirits. Over the last few hundred years, science and reason began to explain some of the events around us, and a belief in science and reason, for many of us, replaced a belief in spirits. Hi, I'm Tim Farris, and I'm going to be teaching this three-part class on the history and future of faith in a time of science and reason. The class is called The Wonder of It All. A quick biographical sketch. After college, I went on to get graduate degrees in law, political science, and business. I'm a former trial attorney here in town who represented children in the state foster care system. I taught at Western Washington University for 10 years and did some of the research for this class. And I've had a lot of wonderful adventures, but perhaps what might be most important to this class is that I used to be an altar boy and once wanted to become a Catholic priest. And over a course of a lifetime, I've migrated from someone who believed in a spiritual world and replaced it with a belief in science and reason. Perhaps you're like me, and if so, we're not alone. Pew Research polls show that millions of Americans are leaving the church and their faith. The trend is led by millennials. Less than half of millennials identify as Christian, and more than 1/3 don't identify with any faith at all. Okay, let's take a quick look at what we're going to talk about in our three classes. For our first class, we're going to look back at the history of our belief in spirits, creation stories, animism, and the formation of traditional faiths and more modern religions, along with the Christian church. Organized religion has done a lot of good, but has also inflicted harm. We will review some of both, as it asks the question whether taking guidance or stories from spiritual communications is reliable. Good and bad, it is history, and there is something to learn from it. If this makes any of you uncomfortable, this class probably isn't for you. The last thing we want to do is offend anyone or make them uncomfortable. Our first class, this historical review, is in reality the foundation and a setup for our next two classes. One of the great things about spiritual faith is that it at least laid down guidance for our moral standards. But if we want to be evidence-based thinkers without spiritual guidance, how do we answer these questions for ourselves? That's our second class. We're going to look back at history and see how humans, many of them deeply religious, came together as secular thinkers to try and solve difficult moral questions. And the results were stunning. They not only did it, they changed the world. And in our third class, here comes the fun. There's no getting away from it. If we believe in reason and science, is there evidence of a God? We're going to take a walk around the neighborhood, look at a few places in our world, and you get to ask yourself, is there a scientific argument for a God or creator? And if nothing else, simply taking the time to marvel at the wonderful world around us is always a good thing. So that's it. I think it's going to be fun. I taught part of this class a few years ago, and at the end of it, almost everyone asked for time to sit around and talk about some of the ideas. So we'll try to arrange some of that. So I hope you'll join us.